Before you start your garage project, you'll want to see if there's a previous coating on the floor. If it's not obvious you have a previously coated surface, you can splash water on the concrete. If the water beads, your floor may be sealed. Typically, with a previously coated surface, you need to grind or sand the old coating off completely. However, Rust-Oleum offers an easy solution with Recoat Primer, allowing you to prime right over the previous coating. With this garage, we'll be using Recoat Primer and RockSolid Garage Floor Coating Kit to transform this worn-out epoxy floor. The first step is to get everything off the garage floor. Once the garage is emptied, you're ready to prep your space, so be sure to gather all of your materials ahead of time. Start with a good cleaning. Use a broom to sweep away any loose dirt, dust, and debris. Then, use a wire brush to remove any loose or peeling paint or stubborn stains that need a little more elbow grease. Once that's done, give the floor one more sweep. Now you're ready to clean with Rust-Oleum Cleaner and Degreaser. Rust-Oleum Cleaner and Degreaser can be used full strength for difficult stains, or can be diluted 1:1 with water. That's 1 part cleaner and 1 part water. If you're not diluting the cleaner, you can pour the solution directly from the bottle to the floor. Pour the mixture on any remaining oil spots or heavy stains and let it soak in for about 20 minutes. Work in sections so the cleaner doesn't dry on the surface. Mist the floor with a hose to keep the surface damp while you're waiting. After the wait time is up, work the cleaner in with a stiff bristle broom. Then, rinse away the cleaner completely. Finally, grab that long handle squeegee and push all of the water out of the garage. You can also use a wet-dry vacuum to help get the water out. Now, you're ready to etch the floor. Etching is a chemical process that opens the pores of the surface and ensures maximum adhesion of the new coating. You'll need to do this to any areas of exposed concrete where the previous coating has peeled or flaked. Slowly pour the provided concrete etch from the kit into a large watering can and add 2 gallons of water. Sprinkle the damaged areas with the solution and scrub with a hard bristled brush. The etching solution may fizz for a few seconds while being scrubbed, and that's a normal part of this process. When the fizzing stops, rinse the solution off with clean water while scrubbing the areas you etched. You'll want to repeat the rinsing and scrubbing steps 3 times to make sure no solution remains on the surface. After etching, these spots should feel a little rough, like you've sanded them, and water should be able to absorb easily into the surface. You'll want to use a squeegee mop to remove any extra water. Then you need to let the floor dry completely for 24 hours. Now that the floor is completely dry, it's time to repair any cracks or holes in the concrete. Rust-Oleum Patch and Repair is a great solution for filling in any small cracks or divots in the floor. It's a 2-part epoxy that creates a material stronger than even concrete. You'll need a clean piece of cardboard and a putty knife to mix the 2 parts together. Mix the 2 parts of epoxy using 2 parts of the base that's labeled B with 1 part of the activator that's labeled A. Mix only what you'll use in 20 to 30 minutes because the epoxy will harden and you don't want to waste it. Mix the 2 parts together until it has a gray color and putty-like consistency. Be careful not to allow any mixing within the separate containers. Spread the epoxy evenly on any places that need repairing. You'll use the putty knife to level and smooth it all out. Make sure you check and patch any problem areas. When you're done, let the patching cure for 8 hours before top coating. Once your patched spots are totally dry, you're ready to move on to the next step, which is the Rust-Oleum Recoat Primer. This product is pretty amazing because it lets you coat over previously coated or sealed surfaces without removing the old coating through laborious grinding or sanding. This is a huge time saver. To start, stir the primer thoroughly, and then, using a brush, trim the edges, working in 4x4 foot sections. Be sure to always start at the back of the garage and work out. You don't want to paint yourself into a corner. And don't forget to make sure you have another way to get into your house. Use a high-quality 3/8" roller to roll on the primer. A great way to delint a roller to keep any of the lint from getting into your paint is to wrap it in tape and then remove it before using. Rolling in a W and M pattern will ensure even coverage and avoid any lap lines. Try not to let the product puddle and maintain a wet edge as you work. Continue until the entire floor is completely primed. One coat is all you need for the garage coating to adhere. The primer will need to dry for a minimum of 6 hours, but don't wait more than 48 hours before applying the top coat. Once the primer is completely dry, you're ready to apply the garage coating of your choice. Today, we're going to apply RockSolid garage coating in gray with decorative chips. The RockSolid 2.5 cart kit includes 2 burst pouches, decorative chips, 2 foam rollers, and the instructions. It also comes with a concrete etch used in step 1. Thoroughly mix both sides of the pouch by shaking it back and forth and kneading each side. Bursting the pouch is easy. Just place it on the ground and roll the side labeled Part A towards the side labeled Part B as though you're rolling a tube of toothpaste. You'll see the middle seal burst, which is what you want to have happen. Mix the pouch again, kneading the corners to evenly distribute the epoxy for 2 to 3 minutes. To apply, you'll use the foam roller that came in your kit and a brush. Using protective gloves, carefully open the pouch and pour it directly onto the floor in 2 to 3 inch wide ribbons about 4 feet long. Once the pouch has been mixed, you have 1 hour to use it if the temperature is between 40 to 75 degrees, so you may want to set a timer. Trim the edges, working in sections, and roll out the epoxy in a W or M pattern for even coverage. Continue this process as you work your way across the back of the garage, working in 4 by 4 foot sections. As you add more epoxy to the floor, use your roller to pull the material back first and overlap areas. This will help ensure you have even coverage. Carefully remix the coating in the pouch in between pours so you have even color distribution. Once you complete a section, toss the included decorative chips onto the wet coating. Depending on the size of your garage, work in 4 by 4 foot sections to ensure the paint is still wet when tossing the chips. Leave a 6 to 12 inch section of wet film without the chips. Don't worry, that area will get done when the next section of coating is added. Toss the chips into the air above your head so they fall evenly onto the surface. Continue these steps as you make your way from the back to the front of the garage. Don't coat or roll over joint lines, but rather use them as a way to create easy sections and roll up to them. Once you're finished, the coating will be ready for foot traffic in only 8 to 10 hours and vehicle traffic in just 1 day. So you can enjoy your beautifully transformed space in no time.